Welcome to the WDW News Today podcast, episode 99. Wow.
We're getting up there.
Eric Morton here with Josh Benish, back by popular demand. Hello, Josh.
Hey, it's great to be back, Eric. How are you?
Great. Thank you for joining us. Josh and I find ourselves in a position of we're probably going to be doing a few of these together over the coming weeks. Tom is gone, and Tom will be gone for a while. So it's two of us for a while. Probably might get some other people to step in, join us every now and then.
That'd be great.
Then I'm going to be gone. Tom and I are both going to be gone. You're going to be gone with us at one point, aren't you?
That's right.
So we are taking a WWNT trip to Japan. Prior to that, I'm going to be in Paris. And that's the theme of this episode, is Josh giving me tips for visiting Disneyland Paris for the first time. You up to that?
I think I can handle it. I was just in Paris 3 weeks ago, so it's fresh in my mind.
The Wigs are not joining us live today. We're still working on that. We're still in the middle of a massive studio move. Now, this studio looks like we're kind of in a normal place, but I assure you we have to reassemble this and cobble it together each time we record right now until we get settled. So
there's nothing normal around here right now.
We have had the new studio open for a couple events now. We had the night with Jerry Reese, which I thought was amazing.
That was a lot of fun.
And last night on the WDWNT.TV channel, Piano Rob did the first night of Toontown Lounge. And I have to say, I know that Piano Rob is talented, and he's played shows with us for a long time now. But to have his own show where he brings in guests and he plays, in that new space where it sounds great and it looks great and the vibe is great. We brought in a bar. People can, we have a licensed company that comes in and tends bar. And check that out at events.wdwnt.com. You can buy tickets. Toontown Lounge is amazing. Just come in there and join it was a packed house last night, playing some Disney tunes and other tunes as well. And Rob brings guests, some people who are performers in the Disney parks. Like I said, we're going to get to that. First, we have a couple segments that we always do, and if you don't like these segments, feel free. We'll put the chapters down in the description. You can skip ahead. We're going to start.
You shouldn't skip ahead, though. These are the good segments.
I know, but there's one guy that always complains.
This is where the magic happens.
This is the Voices of Literacy. This is where you can write to us with your questions. We just sent it to Eric M. at WDWNT.com. I don't know if podcast at WDWNT.com ever got created. So, but I don't know.
Maybe next week.
We'll find out. Josh also has been here. Teaser, we've been talking about a show called Materially Disney for a very long time. It's going to go on our Park Hive channel. And we filmed the first two episodes. They're not going to release for probably a couple months. Really interesting stuff. A little slightly elevated production value from us. And I think it's going to be a huge hit.
They were a lot of fun.
Congratulations on that, Josh. I enjoy being your producer.
Producer.
Am director, I the executive producer / cinematographer /
I think we'll
gaffer / key grip?
We'll give you EP credit.
Okay.
Craft
cool.
services. You had it all. Yeah.
I gave you a Dr. Pepper though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So craft services. I got it all covered, guys. All right.
Let's do it. Let's hop.
All right. Our first email comes from Alfie Thurman. Alfie says, "Hi, Tom and Eric," or in this case, Josh and Eric. "I'm a longtime listener of the podcast and really enjoy the in-depth discussions you both have. Here in the UK, we have legislation that protects historically significant buildings and structures from being demolished or heavily altered. For example, at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, one of the largest and oldest amusement parks in the country, they have 4 attractions from the early 20th century that are still operating and have protected heritage status. I'm not sure whether there's a direct equivalent in the United States, but it made me wonder. Which buildings or attractions at the Disney resorts do you think deserve that kind of historical protection? I understand that parks shouldn't become museums, but I do think certain attractions and buildings are so historically important that they should be preserved for future generations to experience. Thanks for all the great content. Keep up the fantastic work." Well, thank you very much, Alfie. Josh, tell us what you think there.
Oh, well, I can tell you that the United States has a similar regulatory regime in terms of protecting buildings, but it's not nearly as robust as the UK, right? UK, you list grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 properties, and you can't touch them. You can't do anything with them.
You got to leave that asbestos.
We're a little more development friendly here in the United States, so nothing's sacred, right? But that's a good question. I mean, as it relates to what do you not touch at a Disney park? I think the obvious things.
Grizzly Hall?
You probably shouldn't touch Grizzly Hall. That's true. what are the obvious? The
Walt's
obvious,
apartment.
the castle, right?
Yeah. Which one? Sleeping Beauty Castle.
You say Sleeping Beauty Castle, 1955, the icon of the park. It's kind of a big deal. You probably don't want to touch that. And I don't know that Disneyland ever would sort of meaningfully alter a silhouette that now opens every Disney film, et cetera, et cetera. What else?
I mean, the number of things on Main Street come to mind. But, I am flexible in that regard because sometimes they do take something that was sort of sacrosanct and they do make it better. The problem is we haven't really trusted people since a few things happened to make major changes in the parks. At Disneyland, obviously, I would say Walt's apartment at Disneyland, the firehouse there.
I would say the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Enchanted Tiki Room.
As you think about both structure and attraction, first use of audio animatronics. So a pioneering technology that changes theme park entertainment, a really sort of preserved in amber, if you will, version of Polynesian pop culture, which is take a step back from the Disney context. It's not just important from a Disney historical perspective, but the whole tiki bar, Polynesian post-war thing. Right. I think that in that way,
that is important because tiki culture has evolved and changed a lot in America from the post-war era up until now, where I would say, I think it's indisputable that tiki culture was centered in California with Trader Vic's and Don the Beachcomber type of places and people, and they associated that with California, right? That was the epicenter of that. Those fell out of favor at some point, I believe. I don't know why, but tiki culture kind of died off for a while. And the one place that sort of maintained was the Mai Kai down in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. And that has resulted in sort of a large epicenter of tiki activity in Florida, probably resented by West Coast people. But it has been but Disneyland has the Tiki Room, the original Enchanted Tiki Room. And I think it is culturally important, the same way that Mai Kai is important, which is it is a landmark of sort of this pop culture version of tiki that I don't think it has a peer on the West Coast, does it?
Not quite in the same way. Yeah. Not from a
these forerunners of tiki, all their original places shut down, right? Trader Vic's has locations, but not the original.
I mean, a lot of them weren't freestanding originally, right? So many of the Trader Vic's and Don the Beachcomber locations, and even the other sort of those two guys, because there were a lot of independent tiki bars that came about. They were always sort of attached to hotels, and ultimately they have to be a going concern and financially successful. So if the restaurant's not generating, if the bar's not generating, there is the Tiki Tea up in sort of like on the border of Silver Lake, Hollywood up there. That's an old school tiki bar that's still in LA and is kind of, but it's amazing. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's very, very original, and it's very much. And also in Glendale, Damon's, which is sort of a tiki steakhouse that's right on Brand Boulevard. Both of those, if you're in LA and you love tiki, you totally have to check those out because they're profoundly original. But we have so drifted off of what this topic is. Let's say, to round out Disneyland, I would say...
Well, he is basically saying Blackpool Pleasure Beach has 4, so I think we pick 4.
Okay. Have we picked 4 yet?
No, we've agreed on the Tiki Room.
Okay.
I agree with you on the Tiki Room.
I think the castle.
The castle. I agree with you on the castle.
Sort of, yeah. I think we should talk about Walt Disney World, though, too. Is there anything in Walt Disney World that's worth protecting from an architectural or culturally significant standpoint? I
think despite not having quite as much history behind it, that the iconography of Cinderella Castle is beyond the iconography of Sleeping Beauty Castle globally. Probably one of the most photographed spots in the world. And it is more grand and taller and greater in every bit of scale and everything else than Sleeping Beauty Castle is the original. Obviously, that has appeared on logos and things for generations. Right. Now you see Cinderella Castle in some of these opening animations. I think it's got to be Cinderella. I hate to just keep going with castles. But
let's keep with park icons. Okay. Spaceship Earth, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're like talking about sort of great 1980s sort of last era modernism architecture. It's the first sort of fully realized floating off the ground geodesic sphere, right? The geodesic dome existed. The geodesic sphere is sort of an engineering marvel in and of itself.
Someone did say, and I hate to interrupt you, someone did say in our comments when we talked about this that there was a geodesic sphere, I think in Montreal somewhere, but it wasn't fully enclosed.
Okay. Well, that's cheating then.
Yeah, I don't.
Like-
it was an open air geodesic sphere.
Was there a Luca Bond?
No, I think a train went through it or something.
Yeah.
though. I don't know.
Okay. What else? The Contemporary. Like, love it or hate it, I think The Contemporary is just one of the most profound statements about sort of architecture and optimism. It's 70s. It's modernism as it comes up on brutalism, which is a fairly unpopular sort of but significant step forward in architecture and visual design. But there's something about that. I mean, I don't live far from The Contemporary, and I know you don't either. At night, when you drive past The Contemporary and see it all lit up, like a mountain, it's just such a
it's
thing
awe-inspiring,
still.
yeah.
And the monorail zooming in and out of it still. I mean, that's one of those things where it's love it or hate it as a resort, as a piece of architecture, as a piece of design. It was such a great step forward and such a monumental sort of, proud to be an American moment.
Sure.
You're like, God, look, we built this.
We're not just talking
incredible.
about the shape of the structure, right? We're talking about the processes, the industrial processes that went into creating this, to building it. Lifting the rooms into. I don't know of any
Cast
other
concrete,
examples
the
that
prefab
predate that,
rooms?
right? Where
No,
the prefab rooms going in there. Now, every cruise ship in the world is built like that, and probably hundreds of buildings have been built like that. But it's an important structure historically, not only for its sort of what it represents, but actually for the processes that went into building it.
Right. And I think, thinking about that, if you're talking about sort of, again, attraction inside it and the physical structure itself, Carousel of Progress has to be in that conversation too. Sure. That sort of theater in the round, the sort of the theater on the move concept, the fact that it harkens back to the World's Fair from a show perspective, and just what it says about sort of at a point in time, 1964, looking back on American industrial achievement, right? That's what the Carousel of Progress is about. It's about the GE patting itself on the back for, 60 odd years or now 100 odd years of
it's a promotional thing.
Yeah, it's great. But I think that in that way, there's a historical element to that, as they sort of start talking about plussing that, and changing that end scene and whatever else they're doing, adding Walt. I hope that doesn't go away, because I think that's one of those things that the principle of the show and the spirit of the show should so profoundly need to be maintained, not just for sort of it's memorable, I have these great vacation memories of it, which is absolutely true. I'm a big fan of, as my kids call it, Beautiful Tomorrow. But I just think that it is a cultural, historical, political, industrial touch point where it all kind of comes together. And I mean, that's sort of what themed entertainment was. That was the brilliance of Walt Disney. It was like, go get an industrial sponsor, go get one of the great American companies to sponsor and build this thing, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, and also from an engineering perspective, how many other rides that are inspired by this sort of technology that enables that theater and around? You can even now, you look at Smuggler's Run has a carousel system that it operates on. It's very complicated. Right. Rise of the Resistance has a complicated carousel system for the pre-show. All of these things, you can go back to the Carousel of Progress and say this inspired a lot of cool things.
Or a dim sum restaurant, really.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So before we decide on our final four, we have anything else? I mean, Grizzly Hall, I just say out of love. But
because there's really nothing as American as the Country Bear Jamboree, and I feel like it is our gift to the world.
Right. I mean,
and it probably should have been engraved on that gold disc that was launched into space. The beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega of it is the Bear Band Serenade.
Now we got to pick our four.
Okay, let's do it. You go first.
So we've got are the two castles all the way through? Are they automatically in? Or are we just going to go Sleeping Beauty?
Does that make that's lazy?
I think the Sleeping Beauty has to. Well, okay, let's have the matchup: Sleeping Beauty versus Cinderella. More people have probably.
There are more photos in front of Cinderella Castle.
Correct. More
just
people. It's a global destination. Like it is the icon for the #1 tourist destination in the world.
Walt built the other one.
And Walt built the other one. So, yeah, it's like a coin flip.
It's a coin flip, but I think Castle gets a spot. So let's just say Castle.
Okay, castle. We're gonna
Castle.
We're gonna
Generic castle.
we're gonna chicken out and just say castle.
That's one.
Spaceship Earth is in.
I think so.
Spaceship Earth is in. It is. There are other park icons, and look, I love the Tree of Life. If the Tree of Life weren't there, Animal Kingdom would be Animal Kingdom still.
I think that's true.
And if whatever the park icon is for
It's
Hollywood
changed
Studios this
25
week,
times, so
then that would still be okay. DCA, I guess, is their park icon Carthay, or is it the Pixar Pal Around?
It used to be
it
Grizzly Peak.
Grizzly
for a
Peak?
period of time, it was the Fun Wheel.
If you have to have that debate, then it's not that iconic, right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. All right. And I will say, even our domestic castles are probably not the most beautiful of, I think the castle in Paris that we're going to talk about is probably the most beautiful castle in the world.
It's an awfully pretty castle.
Yeah. So, all right. So we got Spaceship Earth. We have a castle. Now we're looking at Grizzly Hall, Walt's Apartment, Carousel of Progress, Tiki Room. Tiki Room, I think, is in.
You think Tiki Room's in?
I think Tiki Room is in.
Okay. I'm good with that. So that's 1, 2, 3. What's number 4?
There's probably something glaring, like It's a Small World
There's
or something
some deeply
like that.
obvious, yeah. Because then you've got Mary Blair and Rolly Crump on the outside,
Right.
Mary Blair, Mark Davis, Alice Davis, all those crew on the inside.
Well, we can kill two birds with one stone, and with Mary Blair, and pick the contemporary.
Oh, there you go.
That
we didn't
way,
even
that's
think
a
about
lazy
the
way to
murals.
get out of this, right? There's a lot of Mary Blair artwork inside the contemporary.
I think the question is it show or structure, right? So if you're preserving the show because that's significant, I think it's a different conversation. And I think where we've tended toward is more looking at the structures itself.
Right.
It's not the show inside Spaceship Earth, it's Spaceship Earth. There's not really a meaningful show in Cinderella Castle. There's Sleeping Beauty Castle has a walkthrough.
Sleeping Beauty Castle. Obviously, the castle in Paris has a dragon.
Show. Yeah. So if we're focusing on structure, I think number 4 is probably the contemporary, unpopular but thought-provoking opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been voted a very ugly building, but in terms of innovation,
Well, there's
and
been
sort
people
of
without
iconography,
taste, though. So
and like you said, that it's really the only example I can think of in any Disney park like that brutalism type of aesthetic, right?
yeah.
Is there anything else?
No, it was around for a hot minute and was quickly sort of. I mean, brutalism. You go into late modernism, which is what Epcot is late modernism, and then as time marches forward, you start picking up on postmodernism, which is sort of Michael Graves and that sort of thing.
I did see. I took that river tour in Chicago, or the architectural boat tour, and when you get to the brutalism part, Chicago gets pretty ugly. Right? You're getting out there towards the fringes, and you can see it getting a little uglier as you get to the brutalism.
You're like, Art Deco looked so good on you, Chicago.
Yeah. All right, well, I hope that answered your question. I hope that was fun. Please give us your ideas in the comments. I'm sure we missed something major.
Yeah, we did. I don't know what it is, but we did. I'm sure of it.
All right, need my glasses again. This is from Ben. Ben says, hey guys, here's another hypothetical question I thought of for the show. Imagine you have a time machine that is used for visiting Disney parks, but can only move in one direction, either to the past or the future, and you can only use it for 3 separate days. Which direction would you choose, past or future, and how would you use your 3 days? For example, you can spend one day at Magic Kingdom opening day, or a random day at Epcot in the 1990s, or maybe just last sweet day in the Bob Chapek COVID era. Or if you choose the future, you could visit Epcot in 2082 and see what the parks look like decades from now. Spend a day at the Planned Park in the Middle East, etc. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Ben. That's a great question. It's a fun question.
That is a fun question. That's very thought-provoking.
So I get to choose 3 specific days to go.
So 3 wholly separate specific days. Are we assuming in this construct that you are sort of... Are you middle-aged Eric Morgan?
Yeah, I'm just me. I think I'm just
and
the
I'm
way you see me
middle-aged
now.
Josh, and okay.
I don't think I get to also get younger, which would be nice.
Or profoundly older if you're going into the future. So,
okay, here's an easy one. I would go to sometime in early 2010. We still have Movie Ride. We still have Splash Mountain. We still have Rivers of America. We still have all these things that Muppet Vision 3D, etc. Bitcoin is super cheap. I'll go to the parks, enjoy a day with all those attractions from my phone, which I can do in 2010. Buy about $20,000 worth of Bitcoin. That would be worth something like $400 billion today.
Well, I'm sorry. We're doing a thing
doing a
where you
cop-out.
can take an action that changes the future.
There's a Disney tie-in though, because then you sell the Bitcoin and it's not going to really peak until it get really expensive until 2021. So Chapek will briefly be CEO, but we'll have 400 billion. We can, with less than half of that, we can buy a controlling share of the Disney company and fire Bob Chapek and start pushing things in the direction we want collectively. The audience, I'll give you all votes. We can all do this together. I mean, what's $400 billion between friends?
No, I mean, we could fund that with the Magnet of the Month Club.
That's a great introduction, Josh. Check out the Magnet of the Month Club, carouselofproducts.com. We have a teaser for this month's magnet, which we will release, I think, on Monday. We'll tell everybody what it is.
That's right.
Let's check it out. Ooh, what'd you think?
That was pretty
Can
cool.
you guess what the Magnet of the Month is going to be? Go to carouselofproducts.com. Check it out. We have a lot of rock and roller coaster merch. Obviously, this pin set is on sale. There's an individual pin as well, like the Chaser. It's a little bigger than the others. It says "Got to Go." These all reference things that were on the ride vehicles, and then we actually made the "Got to Go" into
by things you mean license plates, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the actual size license plate that would have been on the ride vehicles with the phrase "Got to Go," which is from the pre-show, which says, "Come on, guys."
Which very helpfully is fabricated in a smaller than actual license plate size, which perfectly matches the dimensions of the ride vehicle license plate, but makes it less useful as a vanity plate for your personal automobile.
Put it on your moped.
There you go. Or golf cart.
Do people have mopeds anymore?
Golf cart.
Put it on your golf cart.
Segway?
Yeah, so that was a great segue. Anyway, let's get back. That was a cop-out by me just getting rich and trying to
You just wanted to get rich quick, yeah.
I just wanted to fire Bob Chapek. I thought, maybe what we could do is after we buy the controlling interest in the company, we have the whole podcast audience, we invite them to a big theater somewhere, and we have Bob Chapek report to a meeting at the theater, and on a count of 3, we all get to say, "You're fired." And everybody gets, T-shirts and hats.
It's like Mary Poppins style.
Yeah, we punch a hole through his hat.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I thought that's how you got fired.
I can tell you that it is. Absolutely. It is definitely how you... And it turns out it's harder to punch a hole through a bowler hat than I thought it was. So sometimes it takes 2 or 3.
Kept your job way longer because...
That just adds to the shame. So that just adds to the shame. My low-hanging fruit one is opening day Disneyland because I think it's just like July 17, 1955. And I'm not playing the... you're a voyeur looking at history. You don't get to participate with it, let's say. So,
okay.
Because I think that makes it easier.
No, I think we know you're going, so we have to dress you in the period.
Yeah, I got to blend in.
We got to dress your 4K camera phone up as some old school camera, so nobody knows that you're from the future.
No, let's
you can get good footage.
I mean, I've seen some of the best footage. Leslie Iwerks gave me the best footage ever of opening day. So I'm kudos to her and Disneyland Handcrafted. And I don't even need footage. I just want to be there.
I just want to take selfies with Walt, say cheese, I don't know.
Lean over, say to Ronnie Reagan, "Hey, have you ever thought about politics?"
The actor?
You have a face for that.
You're right. We can't change the future.
Things get weird if we don't.
But there'd be some cool you're a stuff person.
I am a stuff person.
What is you got a $20 budget for merchandise on opening day at Disneyland?
July 17th. So Disneyland opening day merchandise was legitimately terrible.
It was almost none of it was Disney branded.
They rushed
right?
the park into existence. The characters weren't really in the park in a meaningful way, including on merchandise. I think the first time Mickey gets brought into the park is with the art corner, where they're selling sort of animation cells and that sort of thing. And by the way, if you're a stuff person, that's where you drop your $20 as you go buy $1.50 animation cells, which are hand inked, hand painted. But it's the ticket. I'm walking around and asking everybody, "Hey, what are you doing with your opening day ticket?" Because if I can take those back into the future with me, I'm doing okay. Particularly the gold ones, because there were these gold tickets where you could write the number of people in your party in, and so and they were given to sort of VIPs of the organization, and there are some of those that have me and my 64 friends.
Wow.
You're just oh, well, that's pretty, that's baller. I mad respect for you. You brought the entire block worth of kids in a bus. But so that's number one. That's an easy one.
I mean, Epcot opening day, is that a thing?
There's no Figment. It's
There's
lovely.
no Figment.
But
There's no Horizons. But still, it's Epcot.
It is Epcot opening day.
There's got to be. I think two of the most iconic anniversaries are the 20th at Walt Disney World and the 25th at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
One of those would be a fun one to. Probably 25th is when they really start getting it together. The resort had a lot of momentum by the 25th, right? A lot of new things had opened. A lot of the parks were in pristine condition. Epcot was running at really probably its best ever, like sort of having everything going.
Yeah. Yeah.
That might have been.
Yeah, there's a magical moment in there. You have 3 gates, and it's sort of like, is it like just before World of Motion closes, probably, to give way to Test Track. I mean, my sappy second answer is like, I'd love to just like some random time when my family was there on vacation when I was a kid in like the early 90s, mid 90s, like just to like watch that dynamic and just to like feel those warm feelings of like that family vacation, which is why that's why like that motivates so much of this anyway, right? It's why you and I do this. It's why we love Disney, is that there was a family vacation that just hit a chord a little harder in us than like the average American consumer.
I'll tell you, I think it was Christmas Day of 1990. We went. Magic Kingdom was sold out, so we were turned away at the parking plaza. Went to Epcot. And
You didn't make a park reservation?
No. We turned around and went to Epcot and had one of my best ever Epcot days. Christmas Day, 1990.
Amazing.
That was great.
And then so one way in the past, one a selfish nostalgia play for me, and I think the other one is sometime in the future. But I think it's Tokyo in the future.
Okay.
I
New
think
Space Mountain.
Like way in the future.
Well,
let's give OLC another like 50 years or so to see what they do with it. And let's assume that ocean levels remain relatively.
Let's assume the park still exists.
There you go.
Geopolitical norms are in place that have, kept everything, status quo.
Yeah, I need some sort of like ability to know that before I decide on sort of time and destination, because what I don't need to do is end up on like sort of like
ashes swirling around you.
What did you do? What did you do? Like, no. So I think that's it. But like not so far in the future. I don't really want to go that far into the future. Like far enough.
20 years.
20, 30 years. Yeah. Like not too far that everything gets weird. I don't need to have some sort of profound, meaningful, because then you're just going to come back here and be like, well, I have the knowledge that things get really weird.
Yeah.
And I'd rather live in blissful ignorance and not know that. See, this is getting hopelessly philosophical.
What a fun exercise.
There you go.
It is hopelessly philosophical. But I hope that answers the question. Have fun with that. I want to hear everybody else. The comments are going to be more interesting than we are on this one, I think.
No, that's one. Yeah, like sound off on that. Absolutely. Tell us what.
But for sure, the Bitcoin idea, right?
Where would you go? Yeah.
All right. We go into our next segment, which is Weird Snack Time.
Well, I think we should stop and say that nothing about this podcast is intended to endorse or provide investment advice as it relates to crypto assets,
right?
Or endorse Bitcoin and taking any position in it ever, really. So, Let's talk about snacks.
Let's talk about Weird Snack Time. All right. Normally, we've been doing this with Try Treats. They're sending us a new box. We don't have it yet. And there was only like one little piece of candy left. Like there was nothing that amounted to enough for us to fill a whole Weird Snack Time segment.
We'd have to share a piece of hard candy.
It's exactly
this
what
is only the second episode. We're not there.
We're not there, Josh. But you can still go to our friends at trytreats.com/subscribe. And if you use the code WDW News, you get a 15% discount off your first box.
What do we have today?
These are not from Try Treats. This is clearly from China, we determined. These are Cheetos, but they're turkey flavored, is that?
It says in English on the back, in very small letters.
Cheetos Corn Snacks, imitation American artificial turkey flavor.
That is some great branding. Imitation. Let's unpack that sentence for just a moment. Imitation modifies what word, and artificial modifies what word?
Natural?
Well, what word does it modify,
turkey.
though? Does imitation...
American turkey.
Imitation modifies American. So does that mean it's imitation American? So it's trying to be American, but it's not?
Correct.
Okay.
I guess.
It's imitation American, and it's artificial turkey flavoring, or is it artificial? Is the turkey artificial with flavor?
You have to eat it to find out.
Yeah, let's find out.
There is a date on this bag, just full disclosure. That date is May 21st, 2025. I don't know if that's when it was manufactured or when it needed to be eaten
I'm
by.
sure it's fine.
It's probably fine.
Oh, thank you.
This is the Ultraman edition featuring Chester Cheetah hanging out with Ultraman characters.
So we eat with our eyes first, is what I'd say.
Right.
It's speckled.
It looks like a piece of calamari, like undercooked calamari. It's not half bad.
They're not bad. The imitation turkey is subtle. It's
Very subtle.
It's a hint. It's a whisper of fake turkey.
The half-life of that flavoring
It may be gone.
expires.
You actually catch more of it on the finish. Sort of the turkey washes over your palate in like it's akin to the smell of like a bacon strip.
Yeah.
You know. Could I eat those? Yes.
Oh, shucks. Shoot. Cut. If you didn't catch it, I did just spill a Dr. Pepper. Thankfully, nothing was really damaged, but we had to get that out of here and switch me to water. I'm getting clumsy lately. I will tell you at the event the other day. Did you heard about my camera?
I saw the unfortunate outcome.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, it's not good. My camera, I had it on a tripod and it took a tumble and destroyed. It's a brand new camera and brand new lens on both. The camera survived. The lens, the very big expensive lens was destroyed in the process.
That took the brunt of the fall.
Clumsiness has been a theme for me lately.
It's given me the opportunity to really reflect on imitation artificial American turkey.
We have to rate it, yeah.
Well, it's like you ask somebody to develop a turkey flavor that had never had turkey.
Right, they looked up like a Wikipedia article about turkey.
I asked ChatGPT, what does turkey taste
Right.
like? There's just like a generic corn snack flavor to it. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit salty. There's like a bit of I don't know, reminiscent of turkey, but not really.
It's not bad, but I would say the aftertaste is like, it's not awful. It just isn't particularly satisfying.
It lingers.
Yeah, it's a lingering aftertaste.
And in that way, it's especially good value. But if you didn't tell me it was turkey, I would not guess that it was
you just
turkey.
say it's some kind of chip. I don't know.
Is it, is it chicken? Is it, I can tell you the things it's not, but I don't know. What is it? Out
of 7, like a 3.
I'm right there.
Right.
I agree. I concur. 3.
I have no idea what this is, and you might because you've spent a lot of time in Asia. I see pictures of shrimp and these little, like, are they sheep? Are they?
There's sushi. It's sushi. It's a sushi-themed candy.
But what are the fluffy?
Rice.
Oh, that's rice?
That's the shari.
I thought it was like a little sheep.
No, it's a piece of nigiri,
lamb or something.
and that's the little ball of rice. And they're standing up on. Imagine that rice is standing up on its hind legs, and the sushi's on its back, and it's like the happy ball of rice on the front.
It has instructions for how you can make the different sushis. There are pictures on this.
American sheep, imitation American sheep.
Imitation American sheep. All right, let's eat this stuff. This is brought to you by the MyGum Company, the MeGum Company, MEIGUM. All right. I'm trying to open it carefully, and that's not working for me. It's a little tray. Oh, these all come in like a tray, so I can be aggressive with the opening.
Oh, look at that.
So you can make your own sushi, and you can either make the one with the yellow thing
Or
on top.
It would just orange flavored.
Yeah.
And according to, let's look at the front. There's a pictogram on the front that helps us. Is that apple?
That's an apple, an orange, and a drink.
That is the international Japanese symbol for ramune, usually.
Okay.
So the fizzy Japanese soda.
We're going to film a future episode of you helping me go to Tokyo for the first time. We should have saved this. Okay.
How to use helpful pictures
Right.
to navigate your lack of Japanese language skills. Yes. That's my new podcast.
I notice all these golden ones are different actual shapes. So these are all the same. The base, is this the base? Oh, my.
Yes. Let's flip it over. And
Oh, I see.
this is profoundly well sealed candy.
I thought it was this, the packaging was so good that I thought I could just grab them right there. I didn't realize there was a layer of plastic.
This is the sort of candy you take to space.
So if aliens find us, they think we're smart about our candy game. Now, getting out of here is proving to be kind of a pain in the ass.
I think they would think we have questionable opinions of single-use plastic.
Okay.
Are you gonna? Let me pop out.
Are you gonna make a roll?
Let me pop out my rice.
I don't want someone who's Japanese that eats this all the time to look at us and be like, it's ridiculous the flavor combination they just used. I'm just going to put 3 of them together and whatever happens, happens. Is that
I'm going to be a traditionalist, and I'm going to just top my rice with a single piece of gummy candy.
okay?
Fish.
Well, I'll do that with you. I am a heathen, but I will do it.
I'm going to choose the little tuna.
I don't know what I chose.
In Japanese parlance, maguro.
It's really good.
That's delightful.
It's really good. I'm going to make one more. I wish it were coming around in like a boat. Candy sushi boat.
Fresh, excellent mouthfeel.
This is why, like, we are larger as Americans. I feel like because our candy is too easy to eat. This is a whole process.
It's candy you have to work for.
Yeah, it's a reward for your effort.
I'm gonna try this little egg-shaped one.
These are wonderful.
I think the orange is quite good. It
I think the
complements-
orange is the best. Mm-hmm. But I'm still inclined to give the whole package a 7 out of 7.
I'm there.
7 out of 7.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pick this up when I'm in Japan for sure, if I see it somewhere. I hope this came from Japan. Nana probably brought this from Japan. I hope this isn't something I just had got at World Market 6 months ago. But
There are enough cartoon characters of fish for me to confidently say that this is Japanese.
all right. Well, there we have it. A 3 and a 7 for our snacks of the week. Thank you for bearing with us as I spill things and eat things. Now let's get to the main topic. As you know, I am getting ready to take my first ever trip to Disneyland Paris. I have some media obligations for a media event because they're rebranding Walt Disney Studios Park to Disney Adventure World and opening the World of Frozen and launching a new nighttime spectacular and all that. But I have several days there, and I know you've been there a number of times, and you're something of an expert on these international Disney parks.
Oh, I never want to be called something of an expert, but I've been there a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been there a few times, and you can probably give me, there's probably things you did that you wish you hadn't. There's probably things you wish you had done differently when you were there, right?
It was very cold.
Yeah.
I hope it's warmer for you than it was for me. Because
What I looked at is probably going to be like jacket weather.
Okay, it was like 40 degrees.
60s.
Oh, it was like 40,
50s, 60s. Yeah.
40 degrees Fahrenheit. So,
Okay.
it was a chilly, gray, cold, rainy day at Disneyland Paris, which is not atypical, actually.
Right.
So, but it's such a beautiful park. I think like the story of that park, and from a Disney fan perspective and from a park aficionado perspective, is spend time looking at the details, because it's a park that's just chock-a-block full of thematic storytelling and placemaking and all of the good things that sort of could have possibly happened in like early 1990s Disney Imagineering.
Right, like they spent so much money on this park that it almost destroyed the company.
Yes.
So this park is the last time that Disney pulled out all the stops on their own park. I realized they did that at Tokyo Disney Sea. That was not Disney's money.
Right.
Right. Disney themselves, this is the last time I believe that I think most people would agree that the last time they pulled out all the stops and really went for it with
In
this
terms
park.
of a full park-wide experience, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, there are some great attractions that have had lots of money sort of poured into theming and storytelling domestically over the last 20 years. But, I mean, this one just... It was sort of the greatest hits of Walt Disney Imagineering. You know, Tony Baxter was running the project and really did such a masterful job of selecting strength upon strength upon strength and breaking things down and building lands as sort of comprehensive and interrelated components. He had the opportunity to do so. You're building the park from the ground up. So thematically, everything talks to one another. Everything works together. Everything is there because it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be there for a very specific reason. It moves you through the land in a certain way. It gives you certain sight lines. It gives you things to draw your eyes to. And and nothing really significant by way of addition has happened to this park since Space Mountain opened in, 1995?
Do you feel that's like this? It's so subtle that like just your normal person rushing through the park may not notice it, and that you got to take time to really pay attention.
I think you do. Yeah, no, you absolutely do, because it's everything. It's every store. It's every restaurant. It's every interior. The way it was planned and the way the story unfolds. Right, Eddie Sato did Main Street, and he did such a brilliant job on Main Street. Nostalgia aside, it is the most beautiful Main Street because it's just full of these details, and it sort of moves time slightly forward in terms of like what Main Street is, because there's motor cars, there's
like a later
automobiles.
Victorian type of.
It's
time
almost
frame?
Edwardian. It's 19 teens maybe.
So I would say like Main Street USA, Magic Kingdom, you're looking at 1900 to 1910, basically.
Yeah,
right?
I think
you're talking like not even a half a generation, for not just a slight step forward.
I found that all Main Streets have sort of crept forward in time, because the original Main Street USA at Disneyland, to put it into words and not numbers, it was as gas lamps were giving way to electricity.
Right.
And in Walt Disney World, for sort of both operational reasons and just aesthetic reasons, it's a bigger Main Street. It's a Main Street in a bigger town. It's not sort of small town Marceline-esque in scale. It's a bigger town. It's a gathering of commerce, and everything is electrified. And here, everything is electrified, but everything is Disneyland Paris. Everything is both electrified, but it's just that little bit further. There's not really reference to horses and as a means of transportation. It's cars, and it's the limousine vehicles were a thing that went up and down Main Street as an attraction. And
do you feel like it's something that you sense more than something that you know when you walk? You know what I mean? Where you're like the vibe. My vibe detection says this is when and where I am, but I don't know that consciously, right? You just sort of feel it. It's just suggested to you.
Well, they're all decisions that were consciously made by Imagineers to subconsciously put you in an era. And the magical thing about Main Street is, one, you can walk down Main Street, but then there are the two arcades on either side of Main Street, which it's a really interesting way. So you can enter shops or restaurants from the front or from these arcades. And it's a really interesting way to move traffic, but it's also an interesting way to spend a half an hour or 45 minutes just sort of breathing in the detail, because there's a miniature Hyperion, the airship from Island at the Top of the World, tucked into one of these things. There's all these sort of references to futurism and references to future technology and this sort of Jules Verne approach to things. And then in the Liberty Arcade, which is on the other side, so the facing toward the castle would be the left-hand side of Main Street. It's all about America and America celebrating the centennial and the Statue of Liberty, obviously, which is a thing that brings France and the United States together. It's a gift from France to the United States, so you might as well have a conversation about that, because that's what this and that's just Main Street. I mean, that's just talking about sort of the details of Main Street. And like, it's really just sort of taking time and slowing down and looking at the things that we as theme park nerds like to look at, sight lines and stores, and what the theme is. Why is this here? You ask yourself the question, why is this here? How does it advance the storytelling? What does it tell me about the land? What does it tell me about the people who inhabit the land? What is it saying about sort of time and place and presence and use? And I think that just makes for such a better experience at Disneyland Paris, which is otherwise is challenging sometimes.
There are 3 names I always hear associated with Disneyland Paris: Eddie Sato, Tony Baxter, and Tim Delaney.
Yeah.
Is that the big 3? Are there more like sort of rock star Imagineers that have been, you know, widely celebrated for this park?
I think everybody who touched this project was a rock star Imagineer. So Eddie did Main Street, Tony did the sort of master planning for the whole park, and Tim Delaney did Discoveryland, Tomorrowland. But even you get into Adventureland and get into the pirate area, get into Frontierland. It is hands down one of the most immersive Frontierlands.
Go ahead.
And that Frontierland it's sort of the all-star hits of some of the. It's the best Big Thunder Mountain. It's hands down the best Big Thunder Mountain. Like, you put nostalgia aside, you put them side by side, and you say, like, what is the one that actually has sort of the thrills? And I mean, it's on an island. It's on an island in the middle of the land, and the land is built around conceptually and thematically that as a focal point. And then up
Thunder Mesa and the mining associated with
right.
The Ravenscroft family, is that right? Henry Ravenswood. Sorry.
Ravenswood.
I know that. I have his picture up in one of the rooms of my house. I just drew a blank there. But the Ravenswood family.
Yeah, Phantom Manor.
There's a whole, it has its own storyline, right? The whole land.
And that's throughout the park. There's a lot of deeply complicated, nuanced. It's story making and place making in its 1990s best. And you know, you wander into the saloon, you wander into the restaurants in Frontierland, and they keep the story going. They're all there to perpetuate the story of Thunder Mesa, of the Ravenswood family, of Big Thunder, and whatever sort of tension and spirits and history and all the good stuff that comes together from, you know, that makes a good story for that stuff. So I think, what should we do? How should we talk about this? Is it like the greatest hits? Because I think that's the spirit.
I think I want
of the
you
park.
to really. What I'm leaning on you for is, right, I know how to go to a theme park and like bang out the rides. I kind of want to understand the park. I want to understand the experience and what to look for that people don't. Right.
Yeah.
As a first timer, I'm not going to see everything. I have a busy schedule. I'm going to be there. I'm going to go to 2 parks, and we're starting with the big one, the one that everyone.
Are you starting
likes.
at Disneyland Paris? Do you get a day, or do you have to?
I
go
get
do the media stuff
I get a day when I land, and we can talk about logistical stuff. I land, and whether or not I take an Uber or a train and then an Uber or whatever I do to get there, I get there, and I get there in the morning. I'll probably have that day to like recuperate. Then I have a full day.
Okay.
Before I have to do anything.
The train is profoundly easy, right? You take it right from CDG to the resort.
So, note, I'm not staying at the resort my first 2 nights.
Okay, where are you staying?
Can I say that? Don't order room service from the Moxie.
Resort adjacent.
The Moxie is like a little south of the park, but it's walkable to the park. I understand.
All right.
But it is, I think, nearly a mile to the train station with lots of luggage because it'll be gone for 23 days.
That's still your train station, though.
Yeah.
And you're probably still better off taking the train.
And then Ubering
and then taking a car, taxi, Uber, whatever you want to do, from the station where there's a taxi stand and an Uber pickup directly to your hotel. Drop your stuff and then find your way back to the park, or the next morning find your way to the park after you've recovered from your arduous travel.
After that, then I have 2 days for the event.
Right.
Where I don't know anything about this schedule except that it's sort of a curated experience. And then I have a 4-day pass after that.
Okay.
So I should have plenty of time in the park.
You'll have tons of time in the parks. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't really want to experience the parks by just spending all day there. I kind of want to you kick around Disney Village and some of the stuff around the area, and
it's a beautiful
and take my
construction site
time.
right now. Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, and
The McDonald's.
I think a new McDonald's
Yeah.
is opening. It's like the.
It's open.
Is it open now?
I think so,
Okay, okay. It's definitely like the Apple Store of McDonald's. It's that sleek, edgy, forward-thinking McDonald's.
I just think it's a good way for me to go and show that all Americans aren't just, devoid of culture and class by going to a very cosmopolitan McDonald's when I get there.
Yes.
This American, he is very suave and debonair. He's the McDonald's. He's very nice. I'm working on my French. It's not very good, but
No, you've pretty much nailed it. Continue to use that accent, and I believe that it will open doors for you.
Zut alors. Okay, so I don't mind you just taking me through the park and helping me uncover. We can do the big chunks, right? What are the can't miss attractions?
Yeah,
but also I want what are the things I need to look for that I may not notice if I'm just trying to rush through the park?
Let's kind of do it land by land in that way then. I think, we've talked about Main Street and what Main Street is. You got to poke into all of the stores because they're all very different in how they're merchandised, and there's some overlap sort of in terms of product, but just how it's displayed. And like, you're just going to walk into a store and it's a toy store and it looks like a circus. And it's just like so profoundly good. Just by way of being a merchandise location. It makes you want to buy something. Restaurants on Main Street, you have to do Walt's. You have to.
Expensive, but worth it.
I don't love the menu now.
Okay.
Right? I don't love the price point. But it's just a Disneyland Paris rite of passage. It's a restaurant called Walt's, and every room is themed to concept art for a land in the park. So it's a very self-referential thing in that way, and it's a way to sort of see where it started.
It's like meta before we had a word for meta.
Yeah, because I don't think the word meta existed in 1990 something, right?
No.
So yeah, but it's cool. And it's just a different pace. It's a way to sort of slow down and just sort of spend. And it's up on the second floor. You get a window looking out on Main Street. Like there's something magical about that.
Okay. Not to interrupt you. When we talk about dining, I have been advised. The one piece of advice Tom gave me was rope drop Toad Hall.
The rope drop Toad Hall. Yeah.
He knows I'm a Mr. Toad guy. I'll go eat fish and chips at Toad Hall, I guess, one of those days.
It's delightfully fine.
Yeah.
It's delightfully fine.
I'm there for the experience.
It's
I'm not there for the fine culinary.
It's an
dining.
inoffensive fish and chip location because no one does British style fish and chips better
Like
than
the
the French. Yes. So let's hop in. I think I got you down Main Street. I think I got you down Main Street.
Okay.
And do you start to the left or do you start to the right?
Usually the left.
Clockwise or
Usually
anti-clockwise?
I go clockwise.
I'm a clockwise guy too.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's tackle it that way. Frontierland.
Okay.
Immediately to the left, you walk through the fort, which is big. It's a huge fort. It makes like the Disneyland sort of fort style entrance look tiny. And it has its own like very weird, why is this here walkthrough of like, what's life like at a fort on the frontier? Let's explain to people what turkey tastes like.
Same type of thing.
Same type of thing.
How do you explain the American frontier to a French person?
The profoundly, and I tend to go to Big Thunder Mountain first.
Okay.
I think it's a good first entree to things.
It's the best in the world.
Line gets worse throughout the day. So if you're rope dropping an attraction, you rope drop Big Thunder, I think. You have two choices. You have Big Thunder or you rope drop Space Mountain. And if you're a clockwise guy, it's got to be Big Thunder then. And I think it's great. I mean, it shouldn't be a terribly long line, in the morning. You take your time getting there, 20 minutes or something like that. And the queue, it's a really nice queue to spend time in because it's so detail rich and so detail intensive. And Pat Burke was the Imagineer who had a lot to do with the gizmos of Frontierland. So he was a big sort of rusty machine sort of guy. And all of the he would go and source all of this like old mining equipment and all of these contraptions and from the era of steam and get them up and functioning and working in theme park show environment. And it just adds to, it's a dynamic land because of that, right? You don't really think of Frontierland other than sort of water as a land with movement to it. But with the Molly Brown and the sort of boat traffic and with Big Thunder Mountain and with on in that sort of foreground element, all of these like orb things and belt driven this and steam driven that, it makes it come alive and it gives it a real sort of sense of place. So like look for those things and look at all those crates and signs and all that stuff, because every one of them has some sort of like WDI reference to it or some sort of Disney reference to it. And then I think you got to do Phantom Manor, because you're going to do this multiple times. You got to, like, if you've not done Phantom Manor, you have to do Phantom Manor. And it's amazing because it's bizarre.
I'm in
like the best possible way. It's like, well, this has all of the trappings of a Haunted Mansion attraction, right? There's a stretching room, there's a bride, there's a doom buggy, there's even some like directly lifted show scenes, singing bus and that sort of thing. But that's kind of where the similarities stop.
Is it in French?
It's in Franglish. So everything sort of alternates between like some things in French and some things in English.
I guess I'm curious about that with Big Thunder too, right? Is it like, howdy folks? Or is it like, bonsoir?
Safety spiels are in both languages too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the challenge of Europe is that you have a multilingual guest base.
Yeah.
And so you're doing this thing where like you're appealing to as many sort of languages as you sort of necessarily can. It's in France, so it's a mostly French and English sort of back and forth division, and it's pretty absurd in that way. So, but just the Phantom Manor, and then do it once, do it twice, go back to back, because you're gonna like. There's a shock value where you're like, what is this? Because it's spooky and creepy and skeleton filled, and the curse of the Ravenswood family and the Melanie Ravenswood story, and it's the classic bride multiple suitor sort of story with like some demonic spirit overlay. And then so you do that a couple times, and then like work your way around through the land. My favorite, Frontierland is home to my personal favorite quick service restaurant and my favorite snack at Disneyland Paris. At Disneyland Paris, they have this Doritos nacho cart, and it's Doritos branded, and it has again like a profoundly complicated backstory about why the Doritos cart exists in Thunder Mesa, and it references like Casa de Fritos and the Frito Kid at Disneyland in days of yore, and it's this. They're perfectly passable nachos. They come in a Thunder Mesa branded Dorito shaped container, but they're flavorless Doritos.
Okay, like the old corn Doritos.
Yeah.
I had those as a kid. They're not as common anymore.
No, they're kind of hard to find. I mean, I suppose they're still around here somewhere.
I think I've seen them in the retro packaging somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, they're not the first Dorito I reach for when I like reach for my. It's usually the artificial imitation turkey flavored Doritos that I prefer. But then you kind of you work your way back toward the land that you end up you hit sort of a fork in the road, and if you go one way, you go back toward the train. You should absolutely do the train. The railroad is fantastic.
The railroad's good. Okay.
It's a railroad.
Yeah.
It's Disney Railroad. Of course, it's good.
I know, but like I would say the Disneyland Railroad is significantly better than the Walt Disney Railroad.
Yes.
I don't know what the tiers are of the Disney railroads. But
my like 5-second power ranking of the railroads is Disneyland for both nostalgia and theming, Tokyo is number 2, Paris is number 3, Walt Disney World is number 4.
Okay.
So, but you got to do it. Like, it's just a thing to do. And then Cowboy Cookout is my personal favorite counter service restaurant. It's a really great, like, rotisserie barbecued chicken and profoundly good potato wedges. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just hits the right notes for me from a counter service perspective. And you get to eat in a barn.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll feel like I'm back in Kansas.
That's right.
We're both Midwestern guys, right?
I've eaten in a barn most of my life, so I'm well used to it. I love eating in a barn. Usually something that's pounded flat and fried.
Yeah.
That's a great way to sort of like meander into Adventureland. Then you come, because they're connected sort of through the back. You don't have to go back to the hub. You get into Adventureland. Adventureland's divided into...
So it's not like Disneyland and Disney World where you can kind of go through Adventureland, or you can start in Adventureland or Frontierland. You kind of have to go through Frontierland to get to Adventureland?
No, you can do both.
Okay.
So yeah, they're both connected to the hub, but you don't actually have to wind back to Frontierland, just like in the parks where you can kind of move clockwise through the lands. Adventureland's a very meandery land, though. So, like, where it attaches to the hub is very much themed. It has sort of a Middle East leaning heavily on Aladdin theming. There's an Aladdin...
Kind of like the bazaar area
a
of
little
Adventureland.
bit, yeah.
Magic Kingdom.
But imagine it was actually, like, built to resemble that as opposed to, like, hastily reverse engineered to accommodate a spinner attraction. You're coming into Adventureland in sort of the tropical jungle part of it, where it links up to Frontierland. So there's the Indiana Jones temple roller coaster.
I'm told I have to do it not because it's good, but because I will want to compare it to Raging Spirits when I get to Japan a week later.
That's right.
Because they're the same track.
The same track, conceptually
wildly
the same.
different execution.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I mean the temple, Le Temple de Paris or something like that. We're just going to slaughter French pronunciation throughout this show, and I apologize for that. And then the Colonel Hathie's is sort of right next door to it, and that's an original opening day restaurant. When it opened, it wasn't Colonel Hathie's Pizza Outpost. It was an Adventurers Club style thing.
Oh, cool.
And it's still fitted out inside with the same interior. Definitely worth like popping in and doing that because it's cool. And then as you can wander... You end up wandering back toward Adventureland, and it kicks off toward, there's like sort of a piratey subland is what I would call it. And that's where Pirates of the Caribbean is.
Okay.
And it's a great Pirates of the Caribbean attraction.
It is one of the better ones, I'm told. Yeah. I think Tom said it's the best. I'm a Disneyland one. Like my tier one, and my S tier is Disneyland, but my only frame of reference is that in Magic Kingdom. I've seen the one in Shanghai looked amazing, but I've heard a lot of people say like, yeah, it looks cool, but it doesn't have that like feel, right? A lot of projection and all that.
The Shanghai one wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think like maybe it caught me on a bad day. Maybe I caught it on a bad day. It wasn't my favorite thing. It wasn't as sort of, it didn't live up to the hype that had planted inside my head for it. And it didn't have enough of the sort of nostalgia beat of like, oh yeah, this is a Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, because there's a thing to that. In this case, there's this, the attraction plays with timeline. So it's not about sort of sailing through a grotto and seeing skeletons and then seeing the pirates come alive. Like you sail through that grotto, you still have that sort of Blue Bayou-esque entrance into the ride, but then you're in the fort and the pirates are attacking the fort. And there's, some fantastic figures and fantastic effects that never have been reproduced. And there's the famous sword fighting animatronic figures, but there's also like, all of a sudden there's a guy, like an animatronic figure trying to climb up over a wall. And you're like, oh, like in what world, like, does that happen ever again? And the answer is it doesn't. I mean, that just like, it's like, oh, that's the first figure to get budget cut out of an attraction. Like the one who's like only visible halfway over a wall. Like, no thanks. But it's long. It's even long by pirate ride standards, and it's
I think my last ride at Disneyland clocked in about 17 minutes. Are we talking that territory? Is it?
Yeah, right around that. Okay. Right around that, I would say. it's one of those repeatable things. It's a repeatable experience. There's a handful of attractions that are just like, yeah, I want to go on that 3 times even if I'm there for just like a day or 2 days. And Pirates is definitely one of those. And Pirates, that pirate area links up with Fantasyland. So if you're taking that, like, you end up taking a meandering path and you cut out part of Adventureland, the part of Adventureland that's closest to the hub, because otherwise you sort of backtrack.
Sure.
But this is my like journey through the park. You end up in Fantasyland. Fantasyland is great. Great Peter Pan attraction, great Pinocchio attraction, an Alice maze, which when I was there at least had seen better days.
I have to tell you something, because Axel, I'm gonna hit up Axel, right? I'll see him this weekend.
Oh, sure.
Axel was like, obviously, before moving here, a prolific Disneyland Paris vlogger. He told me one time he was in that maze and there were guys trying to sell, I think, park tickets and like knockoff merchandise, like back in the maze, like, hey, hello, I want to buy some guy with a cigarette in his hand and merch in the other.
There's something about Alice in Wonderland mazes and nefarious park activities. That happens in Shanghai, too. The Alice in Wonderland maze in Shanghai, which is themed after the Tim Burton film version of Alice in Wonderland. So, like, think about that for a moment.
Trippy.
And then, on top of that, add sort of knockoff Chinese goods being, oh, you want to buy a mini ears,
I think Axel said he saw people scalping tickets inside the park. Like, I'm already.
It just seems like the worst place to scalp tickets. Yeah,
it seems like a bad business plan to me, but yeah.
But to each their own. I think
we joke about it a lot too. But there are signs that say no smoking in the park, and they are basically, what I'm told, just disregarded by the general population of Disneyland.
There's signs that say a lot of things. You know, like, you do what you want to do. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else lives in that Fantasyland area. I mean,
Small World. Do they have a Small World?
They have a Small World. It was closed for refurbishment when I was there most recently. It's an okay Small World. Like,
let's see what's under refurbishment.
The Small World claim to fame there was that it was the first Small World to have an American scene in it because it was in the French park. So there was this American scene. But now the other Small Worlds have sort of caught up and have those American scenes as well. I think the star of Fantasyland, though, is the castle, right? It's the sort of version of Sleeping Beauty castle on steroids, and it's styled after this very Ivan Earl, who was the primary production designer for the animated feature. It's a very Ivan Earl style castle. So it's the square trees, sort of illuminated manuscript way of looking at the world. And it has a fantastic walkthrough, which
I'm told everyone says that.
It's the stained glass and the tapestries. And I mean, those tapestries were woven in Europe, hand woven sort of in that sort of 16th century Flemish style method. They're incredible. They're beautiful to see the art of Disney's Sleeping Beauty translated to that medium is just so cool.
So, refurbishment-wise.
Oh, let's hear.
Here are the things that could affect me. Frozen, a musical invitation, will be closed permanently on April 1st, so I will obviously be seeing that before.
I see.
Closing? Or I have the opportunity to see that. Mickey Mouse, Meet Mickey Mouse is closed for refurbishment. Plaza Gardens. Actually, that doesn't close till April 1st. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, March 30th closes.
Okay.
Star Tours will be under refurbishment on there.
I think that's okay. You can probably not miss any sleep having missed that version of Star Tours, which, because it's a film, is remarkably similar to the other film versions of Star Tours across the world. I'm not a Star Tours guy, though.
Yeah.
Conceptually, I love Star Tours, but
it's never been a can't miss attraction for me.
Yeah, the simulators and I don't get along.
I'm not
like.
It's not that we don't get along. It's just they don't really do anything for me. They have a better chance of making me feel kind of crappy than they do of making me feel like any kind of elation or excitement.
There you go.
Right. So.
Let's talk about the Dragon.
Oh, I'm dying to hear about the Dragon.
There's two approaches to the Dragon. You can, if you walk up Main Street and through the hub and to the left-hand side of the castle, there is...
Where that hill is?
By the hill. There's a cave, and you can walk in and see the dragon that way. That's not my preferred first experience with the dragon. I don't know why. We all have our own way of encountering the dragon in the right way the first time. There's a stairway down in the back. There are two stores. There's a Christmas store, and then there's the Erebus Brothers store inside the castle, on the first level of the castle.
On the backside.
Tucked into the back of the Erebus Brothers store is there's sort of this alchemist fireplace with all of his potions and stuff. There's a stairway. And you go down the stairway, and you can go down into the grotto where the dragon is. And your first view of the dragon then is from up above it, and it's sort of the long shot of the dragon. And then you can kind of come down and around and see it. And I think like that from a long shot and then up close shot perspective, I think that's better. Also, it's like a secret stairway from a store into a sort of quasi walkthrough attraction, which I think is just like
it's
one
just
of those
quirky enough to really make me excited.
Like the 5-year-old kid in me who like loves to explore, and like you're like, am I supposed to be going down these stairs? Oh, there's a dragon at the bottom of them. That's pretty cool.
And you're like, who is providing all the flames for Erebus Brothers to melt this glass and do this artwork?
Right, and
they have a dragon.
There's a whole like alchemy, Merlin, wizardry story that like it all, again, that's where those things just sort of effortlessly blend together, and you're like, well, yeah, of course it makes sense that I'm going down this stairway after going through this store because there's a dragon here. Love that dragon.
Awesome.
Spend some time with it.
Disney should have more dragons in their parks, because every time they put a dragon in a park, people like it.
I can't.
Figment.
There's not a dragon people hate.
Yeah, everybody likes dragons.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, Universal has dragons all over the place now at Epic. Just people like dragons.
So if that's your walking path and you've spent some time in Fantasyland, and then you come and encounter the castle and the dragon from the Fantasyland side of the castle, you get kicked back out into the hub. You're going to take the dragon.
I can't do
cave.
a full loop.
You could go back.
Okay.
You could go back. But let's say you kick back out into the hub. I want you to kick back out into the hub because I think I want you to see Discoveryland from the hub side.
Okay.
Right? So come into Discoveryland from the hub side. And Discoveryland, I'm more of a left side versus right side of the park guy. I've never really been a profound Tomorrowland guy. It's just
It's fine. I always do the people mover here at Magic Kingdom, but it's like Tomorrowland at Disneyland is the weakest part of that park by far.
It's not where my nostalgia hits,
Right.
and it's not where my favorite attractions necessarily reside. However, the glaring exception to that is Discoveryland at Disneyland Paris, which bar none is the best Tomorrowland that could have ever existed. There's not really a way to make it better. I'm sure Tim Delaney would tell me the sort of 25 ways that we should make it better, but
Let's call him.
Hey Tim.
Tim, we're talking about.
It hits it in and it starts at sort of its inception as a land. It's a sort of backward. It's a forward. It's futuristic, but it's the sort of Jules Vernean 19th century Victorian steampunk version of the future. And that feels to me like what a Castle Park Tomorrowland, divorced from the nostalgia for mid-century Tomorrowland that we all like.
Right.
But that fits. It's the Fantasyland version of Tomorrowland in the same way that like fantasy and escapism really do influence Adventureland and Frontierland and all those sorts of like make me sort of a hero in another time in another place and leave the outside world behind. So like by taking this historical approach to the future, it comes alive. It's more colorful. It's full of sort of like fantastic lighting. That's a land you have to see at night to truly appreciate. And I think we can kind of come to that conversation in just a second. But with the positioning of Space Mountain and the giant Columbia cannon, because the original story of Space Mountain is that it's sort of rocket to the moon. You're launched to the moon. Now there's a Hyperspace Mountain overlay, which is tolerable.
I know.
Not my favorite.
See the old footage of I believe it was the Baltimore Gun Club was like the
Yes.
part from
Yes, that's
Terre
where-
de Lune,
Yeah.
where they fire you in a cannon from a cannon to the moon.
Yes.
Why would you get rid of that idea?
To put some
To
screens of
cram Star
X-Wing
Wars in
fighters.
there?
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah. I mean, I like Star Wars. It has its place
Yeah.
in the world. I
do too. I
Just shouldn't occupy that.
I
place
don't
necessarily.
like making something Star Wars for the sake of making something Star Wars. I
think-
think making something Star Wars because this story can only be told this way, it makes a lot more sense to me.
I think that's right. I think here's the thing I like about overlays. They're supposed to be temporary. Here's the thing I don't like about overlays: when they overstay their welcome. And I think that's where I'm at with Hyperspace Mountain now.
I went through this phase where for years and years and years and many, many trips to Disneyland, I had never seen Haunted Mansion Holiday. On the flip side, a friend of mine had never been to Disneyland when it wasn't Haunted Mansion Holiday because it runs for a very long time, right?
Yeah, it's like September through
January.
Yeah.
So I get it, right? Overlays are fun because they're
Because
temporary.
they're there and then gone. Yes.
The one exception I will make is I would rather they had Soarin' over California the whole time instead of just during festivals. I don't really like Soarin' Around the World, so I guess
I'm also a Soarin' purist, but that was the original movie. So, which one is the imposter then? Soarin' Around the World or
Right.
the OG one?
Make a good argument, I guess. Obviously, the one that is there most of the time is no longer an overlay.
Right.
And now look, it's a special event when they bring back Soarin' over California. At DCA, they hand out oranges. They hand out cuties on your way out of the queue. At least on the first day they do every year when they
That's right.
launch that. So anyway, so Space Mountain.
Space Mountain, it's great ride system.
Yeah.
Really a thrilling roller coaster. It throws you around just the right amount. It inverts you just the right amount. It lasts just the right amount of time. There's a lot of perfect in that ride system, and a lot of the theming is still in the queue. You still get to see the fantastic sort of the side of the cannon barrel and all that sort of stuff. So you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to not do it. The Nautilus walkthrough attraction.
I'm excited to talk about this, but I want to just stop you for a moment. Disneyland Paris is like most of the Disney parks where you could just, whatever you got with you, you can take on the attraction, or are there lockers that I'm going to have to put a backpack in or something like that?
No lockers. Nothing
so
like
I can
that.
take like
You
a
can
backpack on Space Mountain?
Yep, wedge it, cram it, do
cool.
whatever you got to
Cool.
do.
All right.
Yeah, you'll get yelled at, but it's Disneyland Paris, so you're going to get yelled at for something at some point in time anyway. And it's Disneyland Paris, so you can kind of yell back sometimes. It's okay. Yeah. They don't care. They don't like you anyway. Especially with that accent.
Oh. They're not going to like that?
I think
I've
you should try
actually
it.
heard that like they actually aggressively get mad at you if you try to speak French and you're not good at it. You're just better off just saying like bonjour, hello.
Yes.
As opposed to like,
There's, I think
un
there's
shot, manger une pizza. That's still my phrase I know.
there's still a lot of value in sort of trying to be socially acceptable in your use of French, right? And that's greetings and thank yous and that sort of thing, and a few sort of lines of pleasantry, and I think that's fundamentally important.
Right.
It's fundamentally important on the flip side too, right? You feel much better about somebody saying like howdy or whatever we say in America.
Howdy, partner.
There you go. Let's talk about the Nautilus though.
Good. I'm so excited for this.
It's so cool. I mean, and it was such a weird, it wasn't opening day, it was capacity expansion. So they were like, oh, we have to very quickly build some stuff to increase capacity. And the Nautilus seems like it was a walkthrough attraction, and it was there's an Imagineer named Tom Sherman who's just a Nautilus nerd. He and Harper Goff used to like play around with like different versions of the Nautilus. Oh, like what if there were two Nautiluses side by side? What if the Nautilus could fly? What if the Nautilus could do this? And they would concept out these sort of things that like Harper was obviously the original designer of the Nautilus. So like Tom Sherman really loved this, and this was like his sandbox to walk through, like build a walkthrough attraction that showed us scenes from the movie and sort of recreated them from 20,000 Leagues, but also what else did the Nautilus have that we didn't get to see in the film? Like what makes for a functional sort of nuclear submarine in the late Victorian Jules Verne era?
Well, let me ask you, because many of us of a certain age have been in a Nautilus at the Magic Kingdom.
No, this is far less cramped.
This is not going to be like that, right? Because the Nautilus in the movie is this much more spacious place with grand, big pipe organ and a beautiful dining room and all kinds
That's
of
right. Yep.
all kinds of expansive space. It's a much larger place than what we've ridden in.
That's right. So there's the grand salon with Captain Nemo's pipe organ and the Oculus windows. There's and sort of stadium seating where you can see sort of the window open and close and encounter ocean life.
Do you actually sit down during this?
You can sit down. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. It's a great place when it's like 40 degrees outside. You just need a few minutes to sit down and not be cold and wet. That's a great place to do it. It's cool. And it's just one of those, and it's totally in concert with what we said at the sort of introduction to Disneyland Paris, is that the opportunity to walk through, slow down, and take in the details and the storytelling and ask yourself, why'd they put this here? And what's it trying to convey? What's it trying to either explicitly convey, or like what is the implicit theming, and what is the story that Eddie or that Tim or that Tony or that Tom or any of the Imagineers who did Disneyland Paris, what were they trying to do? What are they trying to convey? What sense of nostalgia, what sense of wonder, what sense of exploration, what sense of placemaking, and who lives here and who does this, and why was this built? And I think those are those principled Imagineering questions that got to get answered to a very full extent and didn't get sort of budget cut away. And so, and when I'm just going to like segue immediately into what is not my favorite restaurant from a food perspective, but my favorite restaurant from a theming perspective is the Hyperion Cafe. Any restaurant that builds a giant sort of the Nautilus of the skies, as it were,
right.
A giant fantastical, fanciful airship from a sort of failed 1970s film, but one that sort of recurs in the history and legend and lore of Disney theme parks, going back to...
Pause while I plug this. It's on Disney Plus. You should watch it. Island at the Top of the World. It is... I can't stop watching it because I love the time and place, and it's really hard to watch because it's really bad. So it's kind of like I love it, but I don't know why I love it. And I think I just love it because I want to be on the Hyperion.
The production design is fantastic.
Yeah.
The script and story leave something to be desired.
When they get to the native
whale ground,
Viking people and all that, it's just a little like... The fanciful idea of that type of travel to go on an adventure is so alluring that I have to watch. And then they get there and you're like, really? This is kind of... These guys chase them endlessly.
But the ship's really cool. Let's take this ship is
cool.
really cool. And there's... It's the realization of so Tony, when he was designing Discovery Bay, which was an sort of realized land at Disneyland, one of the centerpieces of that land was the Hyperion in its hangar, and which was supposed to be an island at the top of the world attraction. Obviously, the film didn't really do that well, so the land didn't really happen, and certainly the attraction didn't really happen. But this is one of those things where, like in the mythology of Imagineering, no good idea disappears. And it got picked up and reused and turned into a restaurant that serves hamburgers in like the most stylish way possible. Because you get to order them under the Hyperion. And it's there, and it's ready to go. And it has these little... the pigeon sounds are one of my favorite. If you want to talk about sort of weird details,
pigeon sounds like
there's
squealing from the kitchen,
yes, artificial imitation pigeon flavor,
American.
Only the American pigeon is the best. Now, it's an airship that's fitted out and ready to go, and there are homing pigeons in a little cage that are attached to the gondola of the airship. And if you stand under the pigeons, there is a pigeon sound. And that is the metaphor for
There's like
Disneyland
really
Paris.
bad things that can happen when you stand under a pigeon.
They're
I
in a
don't think
cage.
the sound is
and
all
they're
that
not
bad.
so real.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about fake pigeons.
Yeah. Are they actual like animatronic pigeons, or are
I think
they
they're
just?
limited motion or static figures. I don't remember exactly.
But you can't see them moving. Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Like behind the bar at the cake bake shop.
Just like that.
Those aren't pigeons. I think they're like doves, but same type of deal. Figures.
Yes.
Moving figures.
Yeah, that's right. I think that walks you around the park in sort of like the Josh's highlights sort of way.
Nighttime show worth
Yeah.
checking out?
Oh yeah, the drone show is amazing.
parade. Any parades that I'm not a parade guy, but
I'm not really a parade guy. I
think I've changed my life there.
I can't honestly tell you what the parades are.
they sell champagne on Main Street, right?
You can get yourself a glass of
champagne, watch a
champagne on
parade
Main
go by.
Street. Yeah, it's right at the corner is where they sell the
It's like
champagne.
a little bicycle or something, isn't it? Like a little.
Oh yeah, you can get it inside there's one or two restaurants that have it as well, or counter
But I think
service.
I saw like some sort of tricycle, giant. I don't know, vendor.
And there's nothing better than counter service champagne. That's what I'm going to tell you. Because you can just say things like, I'm having a glass of counter service champagne and easing into the day
On Main Street, USA.
on Main Street, USA.
Perfect.
But it's a park that comes alive at night as well. And I think that's sort of that last thing is you visit it during the day and you see it, and at night. And I think like operationally, they probably don't have the same constraints and frankly don't have the same sort of rules that the U.S. parks do because there are portions of that park that are very dark at night. Adventureland and Frontierland in particular, like it is profoundly dark.
Okay.
And it sets a mood, and it's a mood of sort of exploration, and it's a mood of like darkness is magical in a theme park context because it lets your imagination run wild. And it lets a designer focus you exactly where they want you to see, and that's really amazing. And watching there's this magic time in Discoveryland in particular, just as the lights start kicking on. So just as dusk gives way to darkness, and so the buildings still have their shapes,
Like Blue Hour.
but the lighting effects are on and functioning. And watching that sort of that 15 minutes where things change, it's pretty amazing.
So I leave the park and I go into, I guess, Disney Village. Is that right there? Is that
It is. It's
right
just
outside?
yeah, it is.
So are things open late there? Can I stay out and like
You can
go back to McDonald's or
There's
there's a new sports bar? I heard it's called the Sports
bar.
Yes.
They feature sports and alcohol. There's a sort of French sort of classic bistro style restaurant that's out there. There's a Mexican buffet. There's sort of a Tex-Mex buffet that's available to you. There's an Earl of Sandwich location. There's the McDonald's. There's a few other restaurants, and you have the blessing of having a few extra days at the resort.
Yeah.
Walking around and seeing those hotels. The hotels and
I heard you
resorts
can't go
associated
in
with
the
the property.
Disneyland Hotel unless you're staying there.
That's probably true. That's probably true, unfortunately.
We are staying at a Disney hotel.
Do you know where you're staying?
For 2 nights? I do not. I don't have the itinerary
An
yet.
unknown Disney hotel.
The rumors suggest it might be Art of Marvel.
Great hotel.
Okay.
Great hotel. Before the Art of Marvel overlay, it was my favorite because I'm sort of a nerd for Michael Graves architecture, and it was this weird love letter to the city of New York, where like the Yankees and Mets logos were embedded into the floor for reasons I don't entirely understand. There's a great bar, the Skyline Bar in the Art of Marvel. A fantastic place to sit and have a cocktail.
Is that like on the roof or something?
And it's
or?
down. It's on the first floor.
Oh, where else would the skyline?
Where would the
bar be?
skylight be?
Yeah.
Yes, and there's there's like
Is it like the Skyline Bar on
the
Disney
sort of
Cruise
windows to the world? Yeah, except it's like you're looking at Avengers Campus and you're
okay.
or Avengers Headquarters. I'm sorry, and whatever sort of. I don't actually know what city Avengers Headquarters is supposed to be in, but sometimes Spider-Man swings by, or the the Avengers. Various Avengers craft arrive and depart from Avengers Headquarters, but it's got a cool vibe, and it like really does extend that Marvel story and the Art of Marvel story into it. Newport Bay Club is great. It's just sort of like the slightly smaller, slightly more
Yacht club
intimate
type
version of the yacht club. Very like Robert A.M. Stern, like hits those notes really well. Sequoia Lodge is great. It's just seeing how those projects got realized and knowing what the corollary is. Right? It's Wilderness Lodge, Sequoia Lodge. There's a lot of corollary there, and then. If you feel like exploring slightly further afield, those are all walking distance. Those are all right around the lake and the resort. But Hotel Cheyenne is just bizarre and trippy and cool. It's like a hotel that was made out of a Western movie set.
Right.
Sort of like the 1955 Main Street version of Frontierland.
Okay.
But I think that gives you a sense of the resort. I think it's going to be a fantastic trip.
Before you take me over to Walt Disney Studios Park, we don't have to spend as much time on this.
I can't possibly take you over there because it doesn't exist.
Disney Adventure will be Disney Adventure World.
Yes.
Basic questions. These are things that I'm just trying to help people who are planning on traveling there. Internet. We're talking like I have AT&T. I think my international plan just automatically works. That's enough. I should be good there with that. You think?
I think you're fine.
Okay.
I just use my phone. I have Verizon, but I've never had a problem just not using some sort of World Pass or something like that.
Okay, no problem there. Charging your stuff. You got USB outlets probably in some of the hotels, or
most of them.
Bring an adapter.
Bring an adapter. I would always bring an adapter when traveling in Europe. It's a good idea. One of those sort of like clicky, universal, works with everything adapters is
just
a great
don't
idea.
plug in a razor. I plugged in a shaver in Rome into my adapter.
That didn't work?
That killed the shaver. It was a cheap shaver, but it killed it.
Okay, good to know.
Because you don't need, for something like that, I think hair dryers too, maybe. I think you don't need an adapter. You need like a voltage converter, or I'm not an electrician. There's probably an electrician watching. You can tell me what you need, but you need something different to do that. But something like charging your phone,
absolutely,
plugging in your laptop, all the things that I'll need to do.
That's right.
An adapter, right?
Yeah.
Transportation. I downloaded an app because I will be probably wanting to go into Paris here and there and
I think
check
you
some
should.
things out.
Yes.
I downloaded an app. It is called, what is it called?
I think visiting Disneyland Paris and not visiting the city of Paris is you can't do that, right? Like Disneyland Paris is a wonderful destination in and of itself, but getting a couple days of sort of, and it's not even really about sort of running yourself through the culture of the cultural sites, right? You don't have to do 25 museums in Paris. You don't have to do the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower and all that sort of stuff. But just being in Paris and spending a couple days appreciating it as an environment, because it is a profoundly beautiful city, and and a great food city too.
It said SNCF Connect is the app that you can book. I think any type of train almost in France you can book on that app. So I'll be doing that. I think that there's two kinds of trains that will go to Disneyland Paris. One of them, I don't remember what it's called. The other one's WeGo. That's like that's the Spirit Airlines of French trains, I'm told.
Okay.
So, there may be one day when I rent a car, I might take a side trip.
Oh.
I also might take a train overnight side trip. I'm talking about to go someplace because I do have an extra day in my schedule.
To go someplace.
I'm thinking about going to Normandy and Mont Saint Michel. So,
you should. You haven't done that before?
Nope.
Okay. I feel very strongly that is absolutely worth the drive. And it is a beautiful drive through the French countryside.
No, that's going to be a train.
Oh,
that's a long train ride. It's like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. It's a nice drive, though. I've done the drive, and it's lovely. And Normandy is one of those. Normandy is one of those things that I think everyone should see.
Yeah, my experience, as many countries that I've been to, like France, I have technically been to France. It was literally like to stop there briefly from England to go with some friends while they were buying some cases of wine and then going right back to England.
Excellent.
It was like that type of situation, right? So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm pretty pumped up about the whole thing. And then I go straight from there to Tokyo. So I'm so excited for Tokyo. We'll probably do another episode on that. But I can't even think about Tokyo right now because I have the whole
you have a whole
Paris
new park to
me,
experience,
right?
and And I'm very excited about the Normandy thing. I think that's a good trip. And if this wasn't a Disney podcast, I would absolutely give you my sort of, here's the walking tour of Normandy.
Well, I do come from a military family. I was not born in the military, right? My dad was already out of the Army when I was born. My brother was born in Belgium when my dad was in the Army. But dad was in the Army. My grandfather on my mother's side, her father, he fought in World War II. He was in the Army. So this will be a nice experience to me. I think like family legacy and all
European
that kind of
theater or Pacific
No,
theater?
believe it or not, Army. He was Army, but he fought in the Pacific.
Really?
In fact, he was. I don't know a ton of the details, but here's an interesting story, and I don't know how we're going to. This is a weird segue, and you can cut it if it doesn't make sense. So my grandfather served in Tarawa, which was a scene of a very bloody Marine battle.
It was, yes.
I believe he came in sort of after the battle.
Second wave, third wave, yeah.
And I believe he was a signalman. Like he's in like a signal corps. So they're setting up communications and they're building airfields in Tarawa, the whole reason we wanted these battles. His father-in-law, my grandmother's father, was I think he had been in the Navy a long time before and then was a civilian, but he was a skilled tradesman and I think maybe a heavy equipment operator, and he ends up in the Seabees. He's like 50 years old and he's in the Seabees because the Seabees needed skilled like workers.
Yeah.
He shows up in Tarawa to build an airfield, and there's his son-in-law there as an Army, like signal guy.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's a small world after all. It turns out when you're occupying.
I need to verify this story with my mom because I think there's part of me that just believes this story based on like a bunch of stories I heard, and I think that's the story, but I need to like.
I really like it. I think it's a really good story. Yeah. So my grandfather was in the Pacific Theater as well, and he had stories. And like
was he Marine or
he was in the Army?
Okay.
And so he what did he see? He landed at Leyte, Guadalcanal, and Okinawa were his sort of three big engagements. Which he never talked about those things.
Right.
Like he talked about the like sort of camp stories and the like sneaking off with a fifth of bourbon because. Right. He had two brothers. They were all in the service, as almost everyone was at that point in time in that age range. And you got those stories, those sort of like, oh, like we both were in the same place. We both were in the same camp at sort of some period of time, even though we were in different units or different companies. And, we knew that one another was there and sort of snuck off and had a night together of, making our way through a fifth of bourbon.
And the interesting part of this, and not to bring the room down, but like, we're probably both like inches away from never having existed because of a close call that one of our grandparents had or something like that. Like,
right.
But for, some sort of situation happening, here we are together talking about Disney, have the luxury of talking about Disney.
That's exactly what they would have wanted, I think. I mean, to be fair, my grandfather was a huge Disneyland fan too, so.
Yeah, I don't think mine was.
Oh, well, I think he was really happy when, those were like, they were in Iowa, so it was a train journey to get west at that point in time. And I think he stuck around home and sent the family to Disneyland twice during my father's childhood. So cool. It was probably, I recall one of those stories was that they came home and he had bought a color television. So it was like, oh, yeah, you really took a chance now. Got him out of the house and went and splurged.
There is another park we need to talk about. I feel like
should we really?
I think we need to just. I think we don't need the full detail because this park does not resonate with people. This is widely regarded as the worst Disney park in the world. Right. This is currently Walt Disney Studios Park, soon to be Disney Adventure World.
I've pasted it on my chest so that you can read it. What its nomenclature is, and yes, I went there to buy what I would call the funeral mass T-shirt for it, and that was most of the time that I spent in that park. Was that and
Cars Road Trip? You haven't done Cars Road Trip?
I've done Cars Road Trip before.
He's the world's largest lug nut.
I think worth doing if you haven't, just to say that you have.
Catastrophe Canyon. It'll bring back memories.
The Catastrophe Canyon portion of it is very cool. It's sad. It's like Mac the truck, but I think. You got to do it because you said you did it. There's nothing. The thing about that park is that I can't think of a single attraction that, as a domestic park goer who's not just sort of a park nerd like we are, you could live without it. There's nothing that's going to sort of change the world. It's the DCA version of Tower of Terror. It's an awkward overlay for Rock and Roller Coaster that makes it marvelly. It's Crush's Coaster's kind of cool. I've always
Talk to me about Crush's Coaster, because Axel, whenever he talks about it, he just is sarcastic about it, and I can't tell if he's like saying he'll say things like it is the best roller coaster it's the best ride in its park, or
that is
best
true.
roller coaster in its park.
My favorite part about Crush's Coaster is that there's a sign out front, and it's a really cool sign. And it has the ride vehicle on it, which is like this Crush shell-shaped ride car, and it spins in a circle. And that, I think, is like the best part of the attraction.
Is that bad?
It's just that forgettable. Used to be, that park used to be where you would go to experience the Remy's Ratatouille adventure.
So I want to eat at the restaurant, the Remy.
And you should.
Chez Remy, is that what it's called?
It's a good restaurant. Yeah. It is actually it's not Michelin French bistro food, but by theme park standards, and more importantly from a thematic perspective, like, it doesn't matter what the food is because you're actually eating it like the restaurant built by rats for rats.
Right. So you are essentially shrunk down to the size of a rat in this restaurant. It's at the exit for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Well, imagine the Epcot version where you see that end scene where you're at Chez Remy, and then you could just walk out the door and into that restaurant.
Right.
And it's awesome.
So there are seats that are a wine cork. There are umbrellas that are like toothpick drink umbrellas, right?
That's right.
Am I on the right track?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the food. I assume it's serviceable, not great.
That's right.
But,
But that sort of.
But I think that is probably thematically, like, I know this sounds kind of crazy. Thematically, maybe the best thing in that park until the day that Disney Adventure World opens World of Frozen,
which does look profoundly good.
Yeah.
Let's plug that and give that the credit that it, like, the project teams that are doing that are really bringing some. I mean, they had the budget, but from a creative perspective, they're bringing some spirit to that park, and they're bringing some of that very sort of almost fantasy springsy sort of classic Disney look and feel with modern technology now, sort of tied together.
I will be providing a lot of coverage for this so people can follow along. I'm also going to vlog on there. I'm not really a big vlogger, so I'm going to
Oh, this will be exciting.
I did kind of vlog an Italy cruise, and it was kind of a laugh on this show because I edited it myself, and I'm not good at video edit. Like, it wasn't great. I'll just say, like, my content for the Italy cruise vlog was perhaps interesting to someone that really cared, but it wasn't like. I'm not a seasoned vlogger, right? As long as I've been on the air here, it's not like vlogging's not my thing. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to provide real news coverage, and then I'm also going to be vlogging, maybe daily. I don't know.
Okay.
Now that's like 20 episodes of a vlog.
I look forward to seeing that. Yeah.
But people might want to see what it's like to fly from Paris to Japan. Are you
going to edit that one, or are you just going to give me?
I'll just time lapse it.
Little like ASMR of the back of an airplane seat, and halfway through it reclines into you. Very excitedly, it pops back up, and 3 hours later, and
I don't know. Fly over and guess where I am by
some sort of meal.
That might be the
comes,
Caspian Sea down there. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Where they throw chicken at you. Here you go.
I'm sorry. At first, I thought you were talking about the people at the Caspian Sea were throwing chicken.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I guess you never know. Maybe they don't like aircraft.
I mean, they got an arm on them if they can. Unless you're flying, if you're flying low enough to get hit by chicken. There's other problems.
I trust the good people at whatever airline I never heard of until I booked this flight. I'm sure they're highly competent.
And that's why it's a voyage of discovery.
Right.
So I think you're going to have a great time, and we look forward to hearing about it.
Before we go,
okay,
please tell me 3 places I must go in Paris.
3 places you must go in Paris.
You intrigued me with a couple of them. I'll tell you what they are, and you can decide if these are actual, real, solid recommendations I should follow. One, there was a place that the entire menu is steak frites.
Yes.
And?
That's it.
And
it's just
what
steak
is your
frites.
review?
And it's all you can eat steak frites. They just keep bringing steak frites, and it's a chain. There's 4 or 5 locations. They all kind of look the same on the interior.
What's it called?
I don't.
I'll look it up.
Look it up later. The answer is
you can Google that now.
the answer is yes. I think it's like 38 euro or something like that for
all the steak frites.
And all you do is you sit down at the table and they ask you in English, because you have American written all over you from top to bottom. They say rare, medium, well, and you say a word, and then they write it on the paper tablecloth, and then it just comes, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It was delicious. The sauce is delicious. The frites were done perfectly and always hot and fresh and being constantly replenished. And I'm not really like a buffet and quantity of food guy.
Correct.
But the novelty of steak frites, where it just sort of like it came by surprise, actually. So I thought I was just ordering a portion of steak frites. And then another steak.
To Paris, and all I got was steak frites.
So then another steak came out and was unceremoniously placed in front of me. And I think on the third round, she actually asked. She's like, "Do you want more?" And the answer should be no. It depends on the day.
None.
Yeah. There you go. So that's one.
All right. I think aside from the fact that I will just be walking around and seeing sites like Notre Dame and some of these other things that are walkable.
Yes.
I assume it's fairly easy to get into central Paris on a train from Disneyland Paris.
To Gare du Nord or something like that, yeah.
I think there's one museum out of all of them you talked about. Like, I don't think I have it in me to take on the Louvre on a single day visit. I don't want an all-consuming thing that I'm going to feel rushed to try to finish. I think the Impressionist Museum might be more my speed.
The Musée d'Orsay, yeah,
yeah,
it's beautiful. I mean, and it's a manageable museum in that way. It's masterpieces and things that you've seen 100 times right in front of you, and there is something about being able to experience those paintings in particular in real life. And because it's about texture and it's about light and it's about the opportunity to sort of stand, much like just as we sort of analyze views in a theme park, the opportunity to be sort of 20 feet away from an Impressionist painting and see it all come together and see what the image is, and see that sort of fall apart and sort of get segmented into sort of its fields of color and splotches of color and texture and that sort of thing as you get closer to it. And there's something about doing that with the thing in the room that I think is very special.
I just thought of it. We could have used our time of traveling through time and space to go back and buy a bunch of Jean-Michel Basquiat paintings. But how do you pronounce it?
Basquiat?
Basquiat, yeah. If you haven't figured out, Josh is an art expert. So anyway,
not really an expert, but somewhat fluent. Let's go with that.
I mean, because I believe there were paintings by him that you could buy for like a few $1,000 back in the day and sold for over $100 million now. So.
Yeah. You have a lot of time travel.
Look,
a lot of time
you're
travel.
Not supposed to use time travel to benefit yourself, but if you use the profits to get rid of Bob Chapek, it's worth it, I think.
And I think I love Paris is about food for me, and I'm not really like a big sweets guy, but there are a few things in Paris that I think are just fantastic. And like you have to do sort of the pastry thing, and you have to do the Pierre Hermé is a great patisserie. They have fantastic and very interesting flavors of macarons. So it's like vanilla miso and wasabi and chocolate and things like that, and really good stuff.
I think I do want that experience of, and I've done this in other European cities, sitting on a sidewalk, sipping a beer or a coffee.
You picked the right place for it. Then. I mean, it is the land of sidewalk cafes, and particularly in the evening. I mean, Paris really comes alive in the evening, and I think the opportunity to just sort of sit and have a cocktail and watch people, and knowing you have sort of a personality that can't help but talk to people. You're going to get in an interesting. No,
I'm going to be a keep to myself. I'm flying solo. I am alone.
Yeah.
Lee is unable to join me. She'll be joining me in Japan. So I will just be by myself, and I'm unless someone talks to me. Unless somebody starts a conversation,
I'm just here
I'm gonna
behind
be
this
sitting there
newspaper.
awkwardly.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. I'm editing my vlog. Please give me time.
I'm editing my
Yes.
vlog. I don't think I would be taking my laptop with me into a cafe, but we'll see.
Seems like a good place for it. So yeah, I think you're going to love Paris. I think it's a city that, as you sort of alluded to, it's a city that you walking around and exploring and getting into sort of just that little bit of trouble and sort of seeing. There are these wonderful sort of restaurants and stores and provisioners that specialize in one thing, one ingredient, one type of thing, and do it as sort of a master class on that thing. And the opportunity to see that and taste that and experience that is just so cool. It's a wonderful part of it. It's something that we don't. It never really translated to the United States.
Yeah. Josh, man, I can't thank you enough for coming in again.
Oh,
I know
awesome.
Feedback on the last episode very positive, so I'm inclined to invite you back again.
I guess we'll see. I think I'm like, comment by comment, day by day, right?
Well, comment by comment. No, of course, I'm looking forward to doing more of these with you and to us continue to make Materially Disney as a team together. I think
it'll be a lot of
all
fun.
these things are great, and you're a great addition to our team. I guess the audience, some of them have seen you for years, but there are moments back in time where people have seen you throughout the history of this company. But I'm happy to have you on more often.
I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to we'll do Tokyo next.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the WDW News Today podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
No, you go. See you real soon.
And then I'm sorry. This was only my second episode. See you real soon.